Welcome to the Make Meaning podcast. I'm Lynne Golodner, a writer, entrepreneur, and changemaker, and I've dedicated my life to sharing stories of how people make meaning in their work and find purpose in their lives. This podcast highlights some of the great ideas and activities people do every day to make the world a better place. So much of the meaning we find comes from interacting with great people, developing relationships that are mutually beneficial, and doing work that inspires. I hope you'll be inspired by the people you meet on this podcast. We all need to find a way to make meaning in the mundane. Jen Coken is an author, life coach, and comedian whose company is called Embrace the Ridiculousness of Life. She is the author of the book, When I Die, Take My Panties, Turning Your Darkest Moments into Your Greatest Gifts. A Washington, D.C. area resident, Jen believes everything that comes our way is meant to teach us about ourselves. Welcome to the Make Meaning podcast, Jen.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here because I love the title.
Well, thank you.
The podcast, yeah.
Thanks so much. Yeah, we focus on figuring out how people make meaning in their work and find purpose in their lives. And I'm telling you, no matter how many people we interview, how many answers we get, it's still a mystery and such an individual journey. So I can't wait to hear your answers to this.
Well, thank you.
So I want to jump into the humor side of what you do, because actually, I'll be honest, full disclosure, I don't have a great sense of humor. Like I take things very seriously. So whenever I hear that somebody says they bring humor into everything and it's a way of how they make meaning, I'm fascinated because I'm like, teach me, how do I do this? So tell me, how do you infuse everything with humor?
Well, it's so interesting because I did a workshop for a group of advocates on how to infuse humor into their advocacy and was just meeting with a cancer group last week of how to have their survivors who are lobbying members of Congress infuse humor into sharing their cancer stories.
Oh my gosh, how does that work? That sounds like a challenge.
Well, my first book, I wrote it to inspire people to live their best life now instead of waiting for the you-know-what to hit the fan.
Okay.
And I wrote it as an homage to my mom who had passed away from ovarian cancer. And part of my impetus of writing the book, and the reason it's called When I Die, Take My Panties, is my mother told me to take her underwear. She opened this drawer. She was like, about a month before she died, she's like, here's some jewelry. I want you to have this or that. And she opened up this drawer with very expensive lingerie. And she said, I need you to take these because Goodwill won't take them and you shouldn't throw them away. They should,
I love it.
They go to waste. So in the midst of doing all that, I was doing a show in Denver and I called my comedy coach and said, I'm really struggling with writing content for the show because I always write content based on my current, whatever's happening in my life, whether it's dating, relationships, whatever the goofiness is. And I said, because she goes, well, why are you struggling? And I said, well, because of my mom's cancer. I don't want to offend anybody. And she looked at me, she said, cancer's offensive.
Yeah.
Offend people.
Yeah.
And so I think the best way to say it is I try to remember that God and the universe and life has a giant sense of humor.
Okay.
And the stuff people do is so absurd. And the key is here, don't take it personally because it's not personal to you. That's the key is to finding humor in everything. Just don't take it personally.
Yeah.
They are on their own journey. They aren't even paying you never mind.
Yeah.
Really?
I love it. I love it.
They don't care about you. They're on their own in their own little world, their own little bubble.
You're right. So don't take it personally and just try to see the humor. I love that. I'm going to work on it. I'll let you know if I succeed. I'm not sure, but I'll do my best for sure.
Okay.
So I was reading about how you have this great daily routine that keeps you grounded and focused, and that includes meditation and journaling, intentions, and things like that. Can you take me through that routine and how you built it?
Yeah, it's been many years in coming, and sometimes it comes and it goes, but I'm on a 42-day streak right now of meditating twice a day. And
nice.
Originally, I went to a meditation workshop and had I really loved it, and I loved how calm it made me feel.
Yeah.
People who meditate are 84% more productive when they meditate.
Love it.
But their recommendation was she wanted me to do it 3 times a day, morning, middle of the day, evening, 20 minutes, all silent. I was able to get to there, but then, life takes over, you get busy. And I found an app that I love called Calm.
Okay.
CALM. There's other meditation apps out there. I know people use Headspace and there's some other ones, but I do my meditation in the morning before I get out of bed.
Okay.
So I sit up in bed and I run my app. And then once I get out of bed, the next thing I do, if all goes well with my day, which it didn't quite do this morning because I was excited to get some work done, is I'll sit down and I'll journal. And it doesn't have to be long. I mean, the key is reflection.
Yeah.
And you can do it for a couple minutes while, if you're somebody who exercises first thing in the morning, reflect while you're exercising. What worked the day before? What didn't work? What do you want more of in your day? And so I kind of go through 5 things I'm grateful for. And you can think about these or write them down. And then I always write down 10 dreams as if they've already happened. Because we know, right, that visualization, the brain doesn't distinguish between being at the Grand Canyon or thinking about it.
Sure.
So when we're writing those things down, we are able to begin to visualize them coming to life. And then I always, set my intention. What do I want more of? I want more joy and less worry. And then I always end with an I am. I am brilliant and beautiful, fabulous, and people are dying to work with me. I shouldn't say that, probably. People love to work with me. I should say people are dying to work with me. Right. Oh, shoot. Just lost another client there.
Oh, gosh. That's great. How long does all this take you? So, I mean, it's meditation, 20 minutes, journaling. Like, how much time do you spend on that?
If all is well, probably the whole thing takes me less than an hour. And honestly, on some days I'm only meditating 10 minutes. Okay. And then I'm taking 10 or 15 minutes to journal. So the whole thing can take me less than a half hour. Okay. I just make sure I do it every day. So if I've got 20 minutes, then it's a quick 5-minute meditation or 10-minute meditation and quick 10 minutes of journaling to set my intention. And sometimes if I don't get to do those things, you can do something where you're practicing mindful walking to get to my car, concentrating on your feet. Or maybe I'm mindfully drinking my beverage in the morning, if it's a smoothie or tea or whatever, or eating my food mindfully and spending a few minutes, because mindfulness is about being present. Yeah. And in the moment, that's really what it's about. So, even sitting in bed for 5 minutes and just focusing on your breath for as long as you can.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really powerful. I used to meditate and also did the twice a day, first thing in the morning and then around 4 in the afternoon. And when I did that, I was calmer, like you said, and I was more productive, didn't worry as much. I know it has health benefits. And then I just sort of got out of the practice of it. And I think about it all the time. I need to get back there and haven't quite. But when you're in that routine, it is so grounding. It's really grounding.
It is. And honestly, what I did was, so I'm Jewish and the month of October is Yom Kippur, which is our Day of Atonement. And so I usually do a detox around Yom Kippur as my way of atoning for all the sins I've inflicted on my body by eating too much sugar, caffeine, not exercising enough. And I made getting back into meditation part of that routine as a gift to myself. And what's been great is it gives me a prompt in the morning to remember to do it. And sometimes I'll go and answer a few emails or I'll check Facebook before I do it. And at the end of the night at 10 o'clock, I have it prompt me, hey, it's time for you to wind down and go to bed. And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll just listen to the sound of the ocean to drift off to sleep, because when I'm around water, that's my best thinking. Yeah. So you just got to start, and don't, it's baby steps. So start small. Some people think you're supposed to meditate for 45 minutes at a mountaintop, and,
but sitting on the couch can be okay, or in bed, or, as long as you're getting there and getting quiet. I love that. So, I want to hear about your 8-week course, 8 Weeks to Soulful Living. Tell me about what it is and how did it come to be?
Oh, well, it's why I started my own coaching practice. So, I was in politics for 25 years, working on electoral and issue politics. And my very last job, I was working for a solar company, lobbying municipalities to hire us and hire us as their city, the city contractor. Right. And I had written my book, When I Die, Take My Panties, and it had been a 4-year process of going through 7 rewrites. Wow. and it was about to come out, and I had this full-time job. So I had hired a publicist to help me. And it was, my goal with that book is to find a way to educate women about ovarian cancer because it's the most deadly.
Yeah.
It's hard to diagnose.
Mm-hmm.
And I know of at least 3 women whose lives have been saved by some of the tips and the tools in the book.
Great.
And every time I look at heaven and say, thanks, Mom, we got one, etc. So, the day before, I didn't know what day that week my book was going to come out. And as it turned out, the day before I was laid off and my whole department was dismantled because the entire company went through a complete reorganization and refocus of their strategic priorities.
Wow.
And I had a severance package, pretty nice severance package, but I sat there going, okay, it took me about a week and said, this is 4 jobs in 4 years that you were laid off of reorganization or whatever as I was writing the book.
Wow.
And I meditated and I prayed about it, quite honestly. And then a friend of mine called me within the matter of 5 minutes. I got there was a bigger purpose for me. And that purpose was to make a difference and empower people and educate women about ovarian cancer. And I realized that at that stage of my life, I just turned 55. So this is, I was 52, around the stage of our anybody's, they call it the midlife crisis. I call it right?
Yep.
I call it the soul life crisis.
Okay.
Because your soul is crying out and saying, hey, yo,
wake up.
You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, what you incarnated for in the first place. And you've got to get busy because you ain't got much time left at the age of, because what's the average lifespan? Mid-70s. So I always joke and say I'm on my way out more than I'm on my way in at this point in my life. So it became a journey of me doing self-reflection and working with my own coaches to discover what my true purpose was.
Yeah.
So hence my love of working with people in that age bracket is I want to help people identify and fulfill their soul purpose. And that's the point of this 8-week program. I can either do it through an intensive, we do like a 3-month, almost like a boot camp overhaul, or for many busy people at that time in our lives, we're still, we have either our kids are going off to college or about to, or maybe we're in our second marriage with little kids or newly single. And we're at a point in our career that we're probably C-suite level or, but maybe not fulfilled.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe, we're not fulfilled in those things. And so it's 8 tools, 15 minutes each week that you use one of those tools. And then we hop on a call and kind of dive deep to uncover what's between you and being truly fulfilled and fulfilling on your soul's purpose. And it takes 8 weeks, and it was fun to design, and it's fun to coach people in, and we have a blast. We have to laugh. That's cool. Laugh.
Of course.
Yeah.
You got to put humor in everything. We've already learned this,
Absolutely.
Right? So, so let me ask you, and that's just something that obviously this show focuses on, how to make meaning in your work and find purpose in your life. And you're helping people discover that soul purpose. What do you think is the biggest obstacle to discovering that? What do you see most commonly?
That's a good question. I would say it's a couple of things. One is, I feel as if when we're in our 20s and 30s, we're really following someone else's blueprint.
Yeah, sure.
What we feel our parents expect of us, or what our friend group expects. What's the norm? I'm using air quotes. You can't see me, obviously. Or what we believe we should be doing.
Right, right.
So it's all comparison of myself to others, comparison of myself to what my parents expect, comparison and expectations, comparison of myself to what I expect myself to do.
Sure.
And I think often we might have had these amazing dreams when we were a kid that we never followed through on. And it always is very inspiring to me when I see and hear about people like Lady Gaga or Ellen DeGeneres, who visualized, she was at her worst. Yeah. And there's a story that she was living in her friend's basement, and she was, doing comedy, and said to herself, "I'm going to be the first female comic on Johnny Carson, and he's going to ask me to sit in the chair," which he didn't usually do. And that happened because she kept visualizing it. I think so often, many artists
Mm-hmm.
will follow that passion and that dream, but the rest of us who don't have a particular creative bent, for example, don't pay attention to the same signs and symbols to tell ourselves to follow that path. I think that's the big one. I think the other piece is we don't spend enough time quiet and unplugged from technology with our own company. Do you like the company you keep?
Huh. I love that. That makes you think. You know, it is interesting. I do feel that who we are as children, we really know ourselves and we know what we love to do and what we do well, what feeds us. And we do lose that as we get older. Some people luckily don't, but I think most people do. And if you can get back to that younger person that you were, you can probably pretty easily discover your purpose.
Absolutely. And I love that you said that because, we know what do you want to be? I want to be a speed racer and a garbage man and president, and then I'm going to be a secretary. When I was 6, I wanted to be a secretary. I would stack books and papers on my desk, and my parents would freak out. What are you doing? It's dirty in here. Put that stuff away. No, I want to be a secretary.
That's funny.
That's what I want to do because that was my role model. But that's one of the exercises in the Discover Yourself series or finding, the 8 weeks to soulful living is what makes your heart sing. What did you love to do as a kid?
And it's just tragic that we lose that, that we somehow have to get back there instead of just staying in that place. I feel like as a parent, that's my job is to encourage my kids to be who they're meant to be and not tell them they can't do something or steer them in a more lucrative direction. And I'll say, one of my kids, when she thinks about careers, it's always about, well, this one pays more. And I'm like, oh, don't do that. Just do what you love, find where you're meant to be, where it doesn't feel like work. But sometimes it's not even just parents, it's societal dictates, it's peer group, it's so many different pressures for those expectations, which help us sort of wander away from our purpose that we always know.
Yeah. And it's funny because you're told to be more responsible.
Yeah.
And be an adult and to grow up.
Right.
Well, guess what?
Yes, exactly.
You got to get back there at some point. So maybe the adults have to, grow down or unadult or quit taking life so seriously.
Yeah, back off, come on, throw some humor in it,
Yeah.
Well, listen, Jen Coken, before we sign off, I want to ask you to share with our listeners any advice you might have for how they can make meaning and find purpose.
Well, I think the best piece of advice I can do is take that time to be quiet, take that time to be quiet and begin to listen to your heart and ask yourself, what does my heart want?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, what does my heart want? I also invite your listeners and you and everybody to stay in curiosity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is connected to not taking things personally because the universe is not out to get us. Neither is anybody else.
Right.
Oh, I'm curious why you just cut in front of me. You must be in a big hurry. Or maybe you're playing the game called I Go First. So I'm going to follow.
Right.
That must be the game that you're playing. So I think getting that quiet time, staying in curiosity, and don't take things personally would be all the recommendations I would have. And maybe it's for a couple minutes a day, envisioning yourself, ask yourself the question, what am I here to do? What am I here? What's my soul's purpose? And even ask that question before you go to bed because brains love to chew on problems when we sleep.
Interesting dreams come forth,
Yeah.
Well, this is great. Jen Coken, it's so great to speak with you. Thank you for being on the Make Meaning podcast.
Thank you so much for having me and for having this conversation be alive in the world. It's so important.
Thanks. Thanks for listening to the Make Meaning podcast with Lynne Golodner. You can find us wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. I'd love it if you would share our great conversations with your people so we can all add meaning wherever we go and whatever we do.